it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today I'm going to be doing a video. It has been requested from some of the viewers, and I thought, look, it's a great time for me to come and do another chat. So hopefully you don't mind my annoying voice to do the chat and give you some ideas. But I thought every couple of weeks I might just bring a chat video and chuck it into the mix of my YouTube channel. So like everyone that knows me knows, I like to keep it real. I'm just an average person, and hopefully I can answer all your questions. So today we're talking about scents, and when I say scents, I mean, I'll show you just like these. So, you know, obviously these are scents that, you know, you would buy to pop into you know, like your soaps or, you know, candles. I mean, these are actually little candles. So, you know, you've got to make sure that they are actually scents from a supplier that supplies for soap and candle making. So don't just go down to your little cheapy shop and get one of the, you know, the little cheapy bottles that you can get, because that will not be appropriate to use in all of these. Especially in Australia, where you need to register with the health department. You do need to keep a check on everything that we're doing. And that's really important to do all of that. And of course, if, you know, you just get it from, you know, a little cheap shop, they'll want to know, well, why did you buy it there? Because it's not dedicated for soap making or for candle making. Do remember, candle making, even though it's not going on the body, it is still a really dangerous product if it's not used right. You know, you can literally make a fire in somebody's home if you're using a scent that is just not dedicated for that. So anyway, let's get into the questions. That's just a little bit of background on why we're going to be doing this today, and hopefully I can answer your questions. So this is all about, you know, like I said, the soap and also candle making scents. So let's get going, and I'm going to organize all my paperwork in front of me, get myself ready, and I'll come back and answer the questions. So if there's something I don't answer and you really want to know, please make sure that you do send me a message, you know, through YouTube. Just write it in the comments below, and I'll always get back and answer your questions. Anyway, I'll be back in a moment and we'll get going. So today I have a number of scents in front of me that I use. So I do use a few different companies. So I use Pure Candle Supplies, that is one. I also use Aussie Candle Supplies. That's another main one, and of course Aroma. Most people do know of Aroma as well. But what happens when you start to use them is you really do start to find some that you go, this is a really great scent and this one's not. So you just get to learn. But what I actually do is I keep a book and all the information about them, but honestly I use them all the time. So I just get used to ones that I know that are good and ones that I know that are not. But if you're going to do a massive big batch of soap, you know, and you're thinking I'm going to make 30 or 40 bars, please don't use a new scent that you've never used before, because if something goes pear-shaped, then you're going to be all devastated and you've literally wasted all of the materials that you've used. And anyone that does soap making knows, you know, the shea butters, olive oils and cocoa butters and so on are really expensive and they're not cheap. You know, myself, the unrefined shea butter that I use costs several $100s just for the bucket of it. So it's really not cheap. And, you know, I try to make my soap a realistic price. I don't keep it at $20 or anything. No one's going to buy it at that. So I keep my soap, you know, anything from $5 to $9. And that way it's more realistic. So, you know, when making that, you know, there's not a massive, you know, difference in price. So, you know, it might cost you $2 to make it. You might only sell it for $6 or $7. So it's only a few dollars either way. So we definitely don't want to waste anything. But we'll get going, like I said, and answer a few questions. So what I thought I would do is go through a few of these scents for you, because a lot of people have asked me which ones discolor and which ones don't discolor. So just to let you know, the main reason for discoloration is lanolin, you know, or vanilla. So if they, you know, they've got vanillas and things like that in them, they'll usually go dark. So I'll show you this one here. So this particular one here, this is been scented with a product from Pure Candle Supplies, and it's called Cupcake. It's an amazing scent, and I can still smell it, you know, a couple months later, and it smells delish. But unfortunately, it discolored to this brown. I did know it was going to discolor, And you usually can tell. I'll show you after how you can tell, even if it doesn't say it on the description. But you know, but I don't mind with this, and I did think it was going to discolor. That's why I've kept this brown, and I just did a dark burgundy on the top. So we'll cut up nice and close, and I'll show you. This is basically the one I've used, and also the little bicky that you can see on top. That is also with cold processed soap, and I knew it was going to be dark, and hence why the very top also, you know, the little berry on top, I've also made it look like a blackberry, because there's no good doing a white one because we know it's going to discolor to this. Doesn't matter if you put titanium and all of that in it. You know, you can actually buy products to stabilize vanillin, but it just changes back. After several months, it will just start darkening again. So it's really honestly a waste of money and time. So you do need to just find ones that don't discolor if you want to do, you know, a really bright one, you know, such as this. This is really bright. If you wanted to do that, you would definitely not use something like Cupcake. But the Cupcake fragrance, like I said, is really gorgeous, and you definitely can use it as well. So don't feel scared to use ones with vanillin. Just make sure that you create something that is really good, and you know, and you're happy with it, sort of discoloring or being brown. You know, if you did like a cookies and cream or something, you might sort of go, well, I don't mind because I want it to be brown anyway, so then you don't really care. But anyway, I thought, like I said, I did think I'll go through some of the scents. These scents are really good, strong scents that I use. They're very popular, and that's why I use them. So I'll show you some that I use. So this one here is my lemongrass. This one here is from Pure Candle Supplies. I usually buy them in the 500 grams because buying in 500 grams definitely saves you money. Sometimes if I know I'm going to use it a lot, I'll buy a litre. So, but just check out the different companies that you get and work out your price frame as well. And once you're dealing with a company for a while, they're usually really happy to help you out. But this lemon one smells amazing. It's so strong and really good. And I don't use it in soap. I only just use this one in candles. So some of my scents I'll only use in candles, and some I use in soap. But this can be a bit strong in soap. And I would definitely have to use, when you're using things like lemongrass, some lemongrasses you can't use in soap, and some, what they actually do, they seize the soap straight away, so it'll be rock hard and you won't be able to move it. And I'm pretty sure that this lemongrass would do that, because I've never had a lemongrass that doesn't in soap. But anyway, that's a great one from Pure Candle Supply, so I'll pop them to the side as I do them. This one's called Appleberry from Pure Candle Supplies as well. It smells really beautiful in a candle. It's soft, it's not too heavy at all, and it just is kind of like a country field of berries. That's what it reminds me of. But in soap, definitely not. It definitely seized in the soap. It made it hard immediately, so I would not be using this in soap if you're trying to get a fancy soap. And what that basically means is, in soap, if something goes rock hard, you know, it means that it's accelerated. So if you hear someone say that word, accelerated, it means it's worked really fast, it's thickened up fast, and you just got to shove it in the mold, and you just can't get anything pretty out of it. So that's what this one definitely did. But like I said, in candles, it's really gorgeous. This one here is your Pink Daisy and your Goji berry, and this one is from Pure Candle Supplies as well. I've used this one in soap, and I've also used it in candles. It's beautiful for both. It's really good, and it doesn't it's not too fast accelerating either. So just a medium one, really good. It doesn't discolor, so that one's a really good one as well. If you're sort of thinking, you know, and you see them on the site and you go, oh, does that discolor? Definitely ring up Pure Candle Supplies and ask them. Tim and Zach there are amazing, and they will give you some answers as well. So don't feel scared to ring them, regardless of what company it is, or message them and say, look, does it actually have vanillin in it? I'm just wondering if it discolors. Some companies will not be transparent and tell you that, but you know, it's worth a call anyway. This one is one of my favorite ones. It's a Birds of Paradise from Aussie Candles. I absolutely love this. I use it all the time in bath bombs. This is one of, well, would be my most favorite bath bomb. My best-selling bath bomb is in this scent, Everyone loves it. It's kind of like a sweet candy mixed with fresh tropical fruit. That's what it reminds me of. It's strong, so it's great for candles, great for soap. It doesn't accelerate fast, although it does discolor a very, very tiny bit. Not much at all, but yeah, definitely this one is a really good one. If you're looking for that kind of tropical, fruity one with also a bit of a sugary twist. But anyway, like I said, this is definitely the one that I advise for soap making and everything. I actually did do this little candle last week in it, and it worked out really beautiful, and it just smells so delicious even still, you know, so you can kind of see there. Yeah, and it did work out really nice, so that's a good one if you're kind of looking at something like that. The Black Cherry Sorbet from Pure Candle Supplies. This one does not discolor either. It's really good for discoloring. And I'm going to show you something so to see. So if you can see in here, you know, it's basically just sort of a whitish sort of lid. And I'm going to spill it now. But if you can kind of see that, how it's really still quite clear and it's not yellow, then you know it's not going to discolor. If it's yellow in there, it will discolor. So usually the ones with lanolin will kind of look like a yellowy, tanny color in a liquid form. And then you know, you really do, honestly, you're going to know that they're just going to discolor. So definitely like the French pear, that one will discolor. It doesn't matter which company, I've never had one that didn't discolor. So this is a soap that I made with French pear. And if you can see that kind of tan look, it still shows the colors really cute. I mean, this is still colored, but it just will give that light kind of tan, which I don't mind as well. I think it's still quite nice. And if you can see the brown on the top here, that one is actually caramel. So that caramel one on top, oh, it always goes really, really dark. So any caramel is going to go crazy dark, especially Aroma's one. Now this one here is the musk sticks, and I do like this one from Candle Supplies because it doesn't just smell of musk sticks. It kind of smells like a marshmallow slash kind of musk stick, you know, with the sweet candy kind of scent. I have not used it in soap, but it is amazing. The smell is really amazing in candles, and I often mix this one with, like, they have like a Japanese honeysuckle, so those two are really nice together as well. So that's for that one. And this one is from Aroma. It's frangipani. This frangipani is really nice. Pretty much most people that pick up my candle in this frangipani buy it. There's not many that don't, and it's just really nice. So this is from aroma.com.au is the company, even though it does have a different kind of message on there, and that's EROMA if you're trying to look that up or Google it up. But I will leave all the links for you down below as well. Now this one is the coconut. This one's really, really lovely as well from Pure Candle Supplies. I love this one in soap because it doesn't discolor, but in saying that, I always add a little bit of titanium, you know, to give that white kind of look as well, from Pure Candle Supplies as well. So, and in a candle, it's really light. It's a very light one, so it's not too over the top. You know, if you don't want a coconut that's too strong, this one's a really good one. But you know, it depends how strong you want your fragrances as well. This one here I just bought, called Cinnamon Buns. I haven't used it in anything, but just smelling it from this, it's really strong. Oh, and it just smells delicious. Honestly, you can smell it through the bottle. It's really sweet, and it kind of reminds me of like a croissant cooking. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using that one. I will actually bring a video, maybe, hopefully, on that one. This one is the licorice. I actually asked Tim from Candle Supplies to bring the licorice in for me. And if you go on to purecandlesupply.com.au, you'll actually see, if you go into the licorice scent, you'll see the picture of the licorice soap that I made, which they've used. I said they could use my image, and that is actually on their website as well. I'm showing how I did this. So this is amazing in soap. I mean, really, really amazing. It smells like traditional Danish kind of black licorice. So really, really good. And it is good in candles as well. I tried to do the scent in candles and had no luck at the start, but it was definitely my process. So make sure all your measurements, your processes and everything are good. If you're going to use this in candles, the only thing I suggest is you do not use a color. I noticed when I used a colour with this licorice, it was not holding the scent. Without the colour, it holds the scent fine. So yeah, so that's, I don't know why, but and they didn't really know at Candle Supply either. So, and also when we were talking about the Pink Daisy and the Go Berry, this one is the one I did with that, and you can see how light it is. It did not discolour at all. I mean, look how amazing the colouring is on that. Like, I was so happy with that. So hopefully I'll show you nice and close. So yeah, that one was really good. Yeah, definitely no discolouring. So if you want to do something that's fun, you could use that one for sure. Mango, I do use this one from Pure Candle Supplies. I suggest this one in a soap, not in a candle. It's really light, just for that one. And this one is Ocean Breeze. And if you can see here as well, I actually write the code. So if you can see, I've written like Wave Ride. That means the soap that I've used, used Wave Ride. That's what this is in. So this is my main fragrance, but like I said, I do add a different one as well. I also add one that's called Fiji, and that one's from Aussie Candles as well. So I kind of add the two together to create that kind of, this is a bit masculine but also with a fruity kind of twist in it, which is really nice, the Ocean Breeze. But you know, so if you want a masculine one, I'd definitely say this would be a good masculine one. And my masculine ones I put in black tins, you know, because I just think it makes them a little bit different. If you want an amazing honeysuckle one, this one is 100% my go-to. I've been using this Japanese honeysuckle. I bought a tiny bottle from Pure Candle Supplies. Amazing. Really good in both soap and candles. They also have another one called A Dozen Roses, and that one is just amazing too. Like, I really love it. So the one thing to remember when you're buying scents as well, often what happens is they'll have like a higher luxury blend and then they'll have a base kind of blend. The higher luxury means it's more pure, there's not as much waters and things like that in it. So, you know, like on Pure Candle Supplies, they're one of the good companies that will kind of like divide it. So you'll be able to see that's a more of a pure one, and then that one's just, you know, an average one. So if you want to make a really kind of upmarket one, definitely use more of a pure kind of more expensive one. So the difference is from Pure Candle Supplies, the Dozen Roses in this like 100 grams, or I think it's 100 mils actually, or 125 mils. I think that's like $20, whereas some of them are $11. So that's the difference. It's almost double, but you don't need as much, and the smell is really strong. So yeah, so that's kind of you know, a few things. This one here from Pure Candle Supplies, the strawberries, champagne strawberries, that is really nice. It's soft, romantic, that kind of really sweet strawberry, but with a wine kind of twist in it as well. I kind of think it has a bit of a bittery twist, but that one I absolutely love, and I use that one quite a lot. If you want a salted caramel, I 100% recommend Aroma's salted caramel. This one is to die for. Everyone absolutely loves it. Honestly, I have none in my big candles that are totally sold out. Every time I do a market, they will sell out and I'll just have none left, no matter how many I take. So if you're doing a salted caramel, definitely this one. I will tell you, this one will definitely discolor. I'll show you a soap in this so you can see. So this soap here is with the salted caramel, so you can see how dark it is. Everything is really dark. The milk bottle on the top did not have the salted caramel in it, but even just putting that milk bottle into the salted caramel, it has gone like a little creamy color, because it sort of pulled, you know, some of that fragrance into it as well. So yeah, so definitely think about that. I also do love their watermelon from Aroma as well, but Pure Candle Supplies also have a watermelon that honestly is pretty much the same. I wouldn't say that's any better or worse. It's pretty much the same. So yeah, but anyway, hopefully they're just a couple that I kind of really, you know, do suggest. And I think at the moment Pure Candle Supplies might have a bit of a sale. I have bought a few sale ones, they've been amazing. I mean, so cheap, you know, it's almost like half price. So when they're cheap like that, I try and grab them. If you're looking for a sweet kind of Fruit Loopy type one, this is my Fruit Loop one, and I actually get the Fruit Loop scent from Aroma as well, which is really beautiful. And also Aussie Candles have a great one as well for this. Look, sometimes I do buy scents from other places as well, but generally I honestly would say I use it from those two companies in particular. So now we're finished with most of the scents. I didn't do all of them because you don't want to sit here all day. It's a bit boring. A lot of people say, why can't I use a floral in soap? You can use it for sure. But honestly, most florals just seize. When I say seize, it means they literally go rock hard. You could stand the spoon and it won't move in it within minutes of popping in the scent. So if you want to use a rose or a floral, the one that I suggest is Peony Rose from Aussie Candle Supplies. That one is beautiful. I use it so much, and everyone that gets one of those loves it. I'm going to grab a soap in that to show you. So this one here is this is my little unicorn, and you can see how it did not discolor. The scent is super strong. I mean, it's just still beautiful, and that's the Peony. The thing to remember too, if you're making cold processed soap, with cold processed soap, often the scents do not hold. You need to pop in a little bit of kaolin clay to kind of try and hold the scent a bit more. But if the kaolin clay is not working, which sometimes it doesn't, it just won't hold it. I tell all of my customers that, you know, once they use it, which is true, once they actually use it and the water gets on it, often the smell comes back. But it does, you know, it's really encapsulated into the curing process, but sometimes it just goes away and there is nothing that you can do. But like I said, I mean, this one is just really, really pretty, and it's just lovely. So yeah, but definitely that's the one. If you want, like I said, a floral, I'd try for that. But a lot of lavenders, even, they can seize as well. Pure Candle Supplies have a French, no, it's English lavender, and I use that one, and that one's really good. That one doesn't do anything. But if you go on to Aussie Candle Supplies, they do a lavender. I think it's like a lavender and lemon, and that one discolors terribly. It seizes fast, so I would not advise that one. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Test it in a really small batch of, you know, like just do a 200 gram batch or something and test it. That's definitely the best thing. And when you're actually making your soap, you know, you've got your container, all of your mixtures all done, and you know, you're ready to put in your fragrance. Don't just pour the fragrance in and leave it and then go, oh, well, now I'll add color, now I'll do something else. Because remember, that fragrance is sitting on top of that. It's already started to penetrate and do its job. So you need to pop it in and stir it. Don't just leave it for 10 minutes, because honestly, it can seize it and just end up in clumps and just messy, and can rice the, you know, the mixture and just make it terrible. So I try and mix it pretty much straight away. I don't just leave it sitting on top, but I do see that quite a lot. And you know, as I was, my other question, I'm just looking at my questions. One of them, you know, was how do you know what works better and what doesn't? Honestly, testing. I mean, it is the only way. I know it's probably not what you want to hear, testing. But if you really want to understand fragrances and discoloration, and you know why you're going to make a particular choice, it's all about testing. You know, and find a company that you really like. So for me, I found, you know, Pure Candle Supplies, which is that's a younger company than some of the other ones. But sometimes when you get a young new company, they're really willing to help you, and they want you. I mean, they want you to test their fragrances. So you know, they want feedback. So give them feedback, even if you didn't love it, you know, still give them feedback, because that's how they know, and that's how they can grow, and their company keeps growing as well. So for me, because I've tested so many, I will probably be having a section on my website where I will offer, you know, like some cold processed soap sprinkles. I might do those in little buckets, and also I'll be doing, you know, like the rainbow embeds and things like that. So I might actually end up selling those. I don't know. That's just something I've thought about at the moment, because many of you that know me know when I actually make embeds, I don't use melt and pour anymore. I did at the start, but honestly, it's a real pain because all it does, especially in Australia where our humidity levels go up and down and winter and summer is so different, what it actually does is just leave the beading of, you know, sweating on top of it. Doesn't matter if it's non-sweat, it still can do that, and it drives me absolutely crazy. So I only make mine now in cold process soap. So but that's just, like I said, that's a choice of what you want to make. But if you want to do melt and pour embeds, I definitely suggest that you use the Stevenson's brand of no sweat. Definitely don't even get the low sweat. Definitely use no sweat. And you can add your fragrances and all that into that. But embeds, honestly, you don't really need to. I mean, don't add the fragrance in that. It's just a waste of fragrance. So, and do remember when you're pricing your products as well, that you add in, add in your fragrance, your time, the products, raw ingredients, freight. It costs freight to get them here. So that's really important that you're adding in absolutely everything to, when you get to your product. So I get a lot of people that say, how do I know how much I charge for, say, this? They'll say, well, I've made this. This is, for instance, they might say, this is 200 grams, this is 100 grams, so I'm just going to double the price of this. No, that's not how you do it. You need to sit down and write down all the ingredients. So what I do, if I buy, for instance, shea butter, let's just pretend it costs $200 a bucket. Then I work out in that $200, okay, add the freight. So say it was $220 with freight, because, that's a cost for you. You've got to add it in. So then your $220, then you might divide that by how many grams are in it. And then you would know, okay, this has 60 grams of shea. So for instance, it might cost 80 cents or $1, whatever it costs. And then just start adding in all the oils on just a bit of paper. And then you can keep an Excel sheet of what this costs to make, what you're going to sell it for, how much your profit margin is, and of course the tax. So in Australia, we pay 20 to 25% of tax for every item we sell. We also have GST, which GST is just a tax that goes to our government, which is 10%, or I think it's like 10.6 or something. So, you need to add that onto your product. So when someone buys something from my website, that will be the product plus the 10% GST if you're buying in Australia. So that's really important to add all of those in with your scents and everything else. But like I said, some scents cost more money, so then it will cost more to make this product. So for instance, some of my products like this will be like $10, some might be $6, and that all has to do with all the ingredients, the fragrances, and so on that I pop into it. And also the one thing that I must say, lots of people forget, don't forget to add in the cost of the sticker, the plastic wrap, the shrink wrap. That is so important. I mean, there's just so many things for business that honestly we just don't think about. So really do add all of those things in, and like I said, work out everything with your scent and so on at the end. So I think we should come to the end of my little chat video, because it was really about, like I said, what scents to use and why did they discolor and why do they thicken up. And finishing, I will say, I will just answer one more question. Some people ask me, is there anything I can do if it's totally, rock hard, and us, we call it soap on a stick, which means you put this pen in and it's not going to move because it's like concrete around it. The only thing you could probably do is put it like in a crock pot or like a cooking sort of pot for half an hour. Make sure it's all mashed in, and then just put it back into the mold. But honestly, it's not going to look pretty. For me, I would throw it out. I wouldn't keep it. I might sort of make it and keep it for myself at home, but selling wise, it wouldn't look good for my brand, so I wouldn't sell it, because I want my brand, I want everything I sell to look perfect and beautiful. So if I have something that's a disaster or doesn't work, honestly, I don't sell it. I just get rid of it. But anyway, hopefully that answers your questions, and I really hope you have enjoyed our chat and on all of these little things that we talk about. And I really hope, like I said, that my little videos help you guys along your journey of making soap. And you can do it. Don't think you can't run your own business. You can. Just do your homework and continuously research. And just watching YouTubes, just even my YouTube videos on just different ideas that I give you will really help you in your, in the long run of, creating these products. So hopefully by me giving you all these ideas on all the scents, you're not going to go and muck it all up and lose the scent. You sort of have a bit of a background on what you're going to be using as well. And when you're making soap, make sure you're using a light oil, like a light olive oil, because then the color will be lighter. Extra virgin's darker, so it will make these darker. But anyway, we are finished the end of the chat, so thank you very much everyone for listening. If you think my video is worthy of a thumbs up, please make sure you give me a thumbs up or any comments, because all of those things, just interacting with my videos really does help boost me in the YouTube. That's what they want to see, of course, and they want to see that you're liking my content. It's no good me bringing out content that you don't actually enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I've given you some information. And if you would like to pop over to my website to have a look, make sure you do. It's just nelsonsoapery.com, no AU on it at all. So yeah, like I said, nelsonsoapery.com, and we would love to see you over there. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you're nice to your neighbor or someone new today. See you next time.